Hey friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me. This is week 42 in Project Life, so stick around. Hey friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for being here today. I am going to do a very quick process video for week 42. I am using items from the current Stories by the Month kit from Ali Edwards, along with stash items and lots of embellishments that I've picked to go with the colors in the spread, which are kind of like shades of brown and tan and like a rusty orange, if you will. All right, let me speed up the camera and I will continue to do my voiceover. Okie dokie, so this is a quick one. I've got this vellum gold foiled quote that says memory is the treasury and guardian of all things. And then behind it is this piece of pattern paper scrap that I had. I used some of it in my recent Halloween-ish album, which is a different project I'm working on at the moment. And so I like to keep these spreads fairly simple because between my daily journal and the individual more zoomed in stories that I'm telling in various projects, such as this Halloweenish album or day in the life or week in the life, things like that, and project life, I have plenty of memories captured. So in this situation, I like to feature like more photos and shorter stories. So I'm going to create the title card. I'm using this, a whole bunch of things, like the star stickers or Studio Calico. There's chipboard from Ali Edwards. There's label stickers and word phrase stickers from Everyday Explorers. And I'm trying to think what else I have. I've got some vellum stars that are left over from an Ali Edwards kit. I'm using my grabby paint pens because I liked using those last week and I want to bring those back this week. Also, it's a fun way to be able to tie in color to your spread if you're looking for more cohesiveness. So on Monday, it was Indigenous Peoples Day. There was no school, so I took Nora to get her hair trimmed, and she also got to have a play date with my stylist, whose daughter is a year older, and I was able to run some errands while she played with her friend. So on that little chipboard tag, I'm going to write fresh haircut, and then I stamped the wrong date, so I'm going to go back and add a phrase sticker over the date that says love you, and then stamp the date underneath it, just right on the photo, because that was October 13th, not October 20th. Then the middle row is 3x4 pockets. So in the first pocket, I have this like spotty dotty tag looking shaped card, and I just use the paint pens to journal just a couple of phrases to sum up my Monday. So I wrote new haircut, Viv and Nora, solo errands, what the heck is that in quotes, because underneath it, I expanded a little bit on that. Nora wanted me to look in her mouth at the teeth she had coming in, but I ended up seeing like white stuff all over her throat. And it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. It was very disgusting, and I don't want to go into too much detail because it was so gross, but turned out the next day I took her to urgent care, and it was, well, not urgent care, her doctor, and it turned out to be oral thrush. So it's very rare, but she had it. Lo and behold, it's gone. She was able to get some like antifungal mouthwash that cured her up real quick. So that's all resolved by now, but I had to put that in there because that was like, what the heck? I'm also here and there going to be punching out little tiny 1-inch circles with my circle punch from that same pattern paper with the leaves on it because the colors worked really well. And then the middle picture is my boy in the room I'm typically in at school, in a self-contained classroom for special ed. And it was so funny. I had to document the story. It's a terrible photo, but I titled the card, the oval card that says, remember this, I love Leafs, because I was eating my salad and because I only worked a half day Tuesday after I had taken Nora to the doctor, and it said, he said, I love leaves. Like, he just picked up my fork and just took a bite of my salad, and I was like, what? So it was just so funny that he helped himself to my salad. And I'm very glad that I documented that small moment, because for me, that's like one of the endearing things about working in this field, and I just love him so much. So I'm glad I captured that. And funnily, that's not a word. Ironically enough, I found a word phrase sticker that says share. So I put that on the photo of the salad. The bottom row is Nora and Vivian at their play date. I had gotten them both boba, and they were having some lunch. And then the vellum card that has the gold foiled October is just really a placeholder, because I didn't have a ton of photos this week. So I added the vellum star on there with a word phrase sticker that said October Magic, and then a couple of those punched out circles. I also took my paint pen and kind of went around. I haven't done this in a long time, but I used to do this a lot. And just create like a faux stitched border around it, just because, I don't know, sometimes the cards, like the vellum cards, look like, how do I say this, like ungrounded or unfinished to me. So adding the little border around the outside of the vellum, for some reason, it just makes my eyes feel happier when I look at, not my eyes, I guess, but makes sense to my eyes and makes my heart happier. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Words are hard right now. I just finished doing a voiceover for my very long Halloween album process video, so forgive me if I'm like stumbling over words and not making sense. But yeah, I don't know. I like the way it looks. Let's just say that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this side of the spread turned out. Nice and simple, came together super quick. I really love adding in my handwriting with the paint pens, because it's just different to practice your lettering with other media than a gel pen or a fountain pen. And I just like the added, like, I don't know, uniqueness, I guess, that comes along with adding in your own handwriting. I know a lot of people prefer to type up their journaling, but I don't know, I really like the paint pen. So anyway, here's a close-up look at this side, and then moving on to the right, I'm gonna have the same page configuration. Sorry, you can hear my kitten meowing at me because he wants me to snuggle him. So I have this season, and then the picture is a selfie of one of my friend's kiddos on the field trip. She wasn't on the field trip, so I took a picture of us together and sent it to her. We went apple picking, and on the pumpkin, I just did the same thing I did on the left side, where I used my paint pens to kind of sum up the week. So I wrote oral thrush equals ill. I could only work a half day after Disney outfit planning, naps, fall temps, day in the life, question mark, because I took photos, but I haven't documented it yet. Book fair setup, layers of clothing, apple picking, field trip. And then I did the little faux stitching around the outside of the pumpkin. I think I add that later though. And then the middle row is a beautiful photo of the tree outside of Nora's school and the building I work in. So I had to include that because it's gorgeous with the changing of the seasons. So I just put a chipboard that says here for all these magical October moments. And then the photo on the right side of this page is Nora outside of one of our favorite restaurants. And I love in the background, like, it's an outside shopping area, so there's like this super cute pumpkin setup. You can't really see it that well, but in person it's so cute, just like it's fall, you know. So on the what I love about October card, I journaled about, there wasn't any photos, about Nora's first playoff game for football, and that was Saturday night, and we ended up winning 36-20. The first half was a mess, but the second half they came back and we won. But I ended up having the worst migraine I'd had in like probably over a decade, and I came home and I had the spins like you wouldn't believe. I suffered through the game. I had a migraine pretty much all day, and I ended up like basically with my head in the toilet for the entire night, and it was really bad. So yeah, I wanted to journal about that. And then the last row, I took that 4x6 pocket and made it into two 3x4 items. So I've got like a vellum card that just has that quote, says autumn is a second spring where every leaf is a flower. And then the picture of, it's not a great picture, but I know what it is. Like, I can see in the mirror, it's Nora and her friend Tessa, who was over, and they were dancing like to this super cringy baby music, and I snuck a photo of them. So again, it's not a great picture, but I wanted to put it in there. Also, don't have a ton of pictures this week either, so that worked out well. I mean, I do for day in the life, but I didn't want to put any of them in this particular project, in my Project Life album. So I drew that faux stitching around the vellum quote card, and then on the oval die cut that I layered on top of the vellum there, I did a combination of journaling with my paint pen and my gel pen. So I just talked about their play date, and then how on Sunday night Matt made apple crisp using the fresh apples that I had just picked. So that was like super amazing. I do want to mention that where I was adding in the journaling with my paint pen, I tried to speed it up to 8 times instead of 4, just so that this video wasn't super long. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. This is going to wrap up my project life for this week. Let me know if you have any questions. And as usual, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my future content. And I will see you back here for the next one. Take care, friends, and remember that you are enough. Bye.